We'll move over to the next question. It comes from Kirby G, who says, would love to hear the team discuss this question I had with a few other credit card enthusiasts. Would you rather fly to Asia or Europe directly in premium economy or fly business with a medium long layover? Personally, I'd choose premium economy, but could see others disagreeing. So I'm going to take the first stab at this. First of all, where in Asia, Europe am I flying? If I'm flying to Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, I'll live with premium economy. If I'm flying to Dubrovnik, I would like to be in business. If I'm flying to Ankara, I would like to be in business. And I can go further from Ankara to destinations in Asia and have a free stay in Istanbul as part of my flight. I'm doing business on all that leg. Depends on where I'm going, where I'm flying from. I'd be originating from JFK. If it's anywhere in Western Europe, I think I could survive. I would survive in premium economy. I get more leg space. I have some recline. It's not as bad as basic economy in the US. So like I could live with premium economy there. If I'm flying beyond like Greece, I want business class if I'm flying from JFK. And if I'm going the other way, I want business class the entire time. Layovers, no layovers. I would prefer direct flights, but if I gotta do a layover, I'll do the layover. It's fine. I'll find a lounge. I'll eat my cookie and a sad salad. Actually, I can't even have the dang cookies. I'll find a sad salad and a jello or something.
There's always Italian dressing and balsamic. There's always balsamic. That's how you know.
Woo!
That's how you know it's a sad salad bar. When those two are
Yay, oil and vinegar.
shredded carrots
Hooray.
as a topping, it's a sad salad bar.
Yay. Avoid the croutons. Not being able to process wheat properly has been a hindrance on my life now for far too long. If somebody could fix that, please do. Not the highest medical priority, but it's up there for me. Lonnie, how would you approach this?
Man, I hate hypotheticals like this because I want to take a direct flight every chance that I get, period. I don't care if it has a nice layover in some ritzy, glitzy, super duper airport. Sparrow's route, straight line, get me there. Now, to go back to the question, I'm very much like you, Matt. I'm going to take business class, and I've actually done this. So this is non-hypothetical. This is true nonfiction here. I have actually booked flights that have had layovers because I got business class the entire way. Where I'm like, I'll put it like this: the main factor is price.
Yep.
If the price is right and I got the time, then yeah, I'll take the layover. Especially like when you think of, like as you had mentioned, or in the question, Asia and Europe don't really have layovers for me to go into Asia. Europe, I can. Most cases, I try to get a layover EWR in Newark, that is. And if not, it's in Frankfurt. Yeah. Two great airports that I know inside and out, so it's not that big of a deal to have a layover there. But premium economy, I'll try to avoid, and that's only because of my height. I won't sit regular economy or economy plus on a long haul flight, and that's because I got to kick some legs out. Premium economy can give you that airplane Charlie horse, but once again, it comes down to price. If business class costs $6,000 more than premium economy, I'm sorry, I'm probably not going to pull that. Even if it's for myself, I don't want to pay $15,000 for a business class seat where I can get a premium economy for $1,000. That just doesn't make sense for me. Even when using points, I'm not going to burn my points for that. Heaven forbid if I'm paying for 3 for my family. No, we're not. We are not going 45K to get to the other side of the world. We're just not going to do that in points or in actual dollars. We're just not going to do that. Yep. And so then, yeah, I would 100% take premium economy and cross my fingers that my status would get us to the front. And no, there is no, I get to the front and my family stays behind. It's all or nothing. So we're all sitting in the front or we're all not sitting in the front. That's just personally how I do it. I'm that type of father figure and husband, if you will. So hopefully that answers. I want to take direct as much as possible, but the difference between premium economy and business for me comes down to price. If I'm on a corporate card, even on the corporate card, I do get budgets and they're like, we're not paying $15K for you to fly first class. And yeah, I've flown to Spain on a business trip in premium economy, 12 hours. Wasn't great, but I wasn't about to pay the difference.
Yeah.
So,
And this is where solo traveler versus family can also play a pretty big role because solo traveler, it's 45,000 points. That's no big deal. I've got a stash of 350,000. Sweet. Yes, that's for yourself. But now multiply it by 3 and you're paying 135,000 points. Yeah, out of 350. Yeah.
yeah, that 187K point or mile flight just hits differently when you're flying solo. You're like, sure, that's fine. But when it's 187 times three, like, yeah,
Yep.
you're sitting
And
window, I'm sitting aisle.
and that's one way. That's one way. That's 45K one way. How you getting home? Because you're not gonna have enough points. Better hope there's a great purchase bonus or transfer bonus. RJ, you are someone who lives the layover life. I'm certain I know your answer, but you flying to Asia or Europe, not necessarily in the cards usually, but how do you approach it?
I'm flying business or first class, or I'm not going on the trip. If it's not in the budget, I'm just not going. Like flat out, not an option. I am not going to spend multiple hours of my trip uncomfortable simply to get there. I am not at that stage of my life where I find that to be an acceptable trade-off. Some people will also stay in an Airbnb with 3 bedrooms for 12 people. You do that, you have all of the fun in the world. That is not the life I have. That is not the desires of which I have. So if I can't do business class or first class because it's some stupid number, I'm just not going. If I want to go domestically and it's a stupid high price and I don't have the points or I don't want to use the points or whatever, I'm not going to go. I'm going to pick a different destination. There is no option where I'm not towards the front of the plane. There's just not. Like, it's not an option. It's like those seats do not exist for me. Now, again, I usually am traveling solo when it comes to stuff like this. So I have that ability to just be like, yeah, you know what? I was going to go to Seattle for this trip. I'm going to go to Portland instead because it's cheaper. Like, I have the ability to do things like that because I'm not consulting with others. I don't have a child that I have to make sure is reasonably cared for. I don't have to deal with that. So for me, it's always going to be business class or first class. I also cannot fly anywhere without a layover unless I'm going to LaGuardia, Atlanta, or Detroit. Those are the 3 places I can fly to directly. Everything outside of those 3 places requires a layover. So I don't know how I would get to Europe and or Asia without taking a multi-hour car ride and then taking a flight to begin with. So there's no way for me to fly from my home airport without 2 layovers to get to Europe. I would have to go to LaGuardia and then Boston or Atlanta or Detroit and then go over versus drive. Like I could drive to Boston, but that's also 4, 5 hours to get to Boston. And then I have to deal with after the flight flying home and probably have to get a hotel at least one of those days, if not both of those days with the drive. So it's even though I could do a positioning flight, it's actually more expensive to do positioning flights from where I am. And that is a specific to being in a regional airport versus being, both of you are more city dwellers than I am. If I had the option of JFK or LaGuardia or Newark, that would make things different. I do not live at that part of New York City or that part of New York. I live in the part where there is black bears and bobcats and coyotes and hillbillies. That is the part of New York of which I live.
Probably easier to just drive north, cross the border, and fly out of Montreal.
I don't really want to cross an international border at the moment, but probably in a world without that issue, it would probably be.
That's fair.
The Adirondack Northway, for the 4 people listening to this podcast who know what the Adirondack Northway is a lovely drive after you get up past 21, 22 and are away from everything, but it is the most boring 2.5 hours. You better have a strong Spotify playlist downloaded or podcast because you're going to lose signal too. So if you're going to take that drive, it's beautiful, but dear God, are you going to be bored out of your mind?
Michael Lewis audiobooks is my answer there. Flash Boys, Flash Crash, Moneyball. Moneyball's a weird book.